Well, today is September 9th, and having a bit of a struggle. Just haven't been feeling really well this week. I don't know if it's my nerves or it just seems to be my new normal, no matter how careful I am to eat or drink water or exercise, rest. I just never feel good anymore. And I know the doctor says that that's PTSD, and I guess so. I've never had PTSD, so I'm just going by what they're telling me. But yeah, I try to I try to take care as much as I can, but some days it's just overwhelming. It's just no matter what you do, there's just no relief. So I have an appointment with the doctor this afternoon. She's my friend too, so that is helpful. I've had this constant nausea now for 2 days. I was hoping I would feel better today, and I woke up and I had a cup of coffee and I wasn't feeling better. And I still try to power through everything that needed to get done this morning. Phone calls, feeding the animals, things like that, but just feeling really garbagey, and I don't know. I don't know that there's anything she can do, but she might be able to make sure I don't have a virus, or I don't know, something else going on. Who knows? Tomorrow is Suicide Prevention Awareness Day. And, kind of circling back to what I had said the other day, I think, as a suicide survivor, a lot of us really carry so much guilt thinking that it's something we could have done to prevent what happened. For myself, I had even brought my son to the hospital the morning of the day of his death because I could tell he was suffering, anxiety. He was having an issue. He was very irritable, and I could see like he was struggling. He didn't want to go, but he did it to appease me. And I brought him to the emergency room, explained the situation. They were very dismissive of him, which added to his anxiety and depression. When we left there, I never forgot just seeing him walk out of the emergency room in the snow, just how defeated he looked. And when he got in the car, I had no clue that he was 3 hours away from being dead. I said, "Hey, look, we'll find another doctor. We'll get this taken care of." And I remember he just looked at me and he just shook his head, and he said, "I don't want to talk about this." I said, "All right, let's just go to the store. Let's go home. Let's have some dinner and just relax, and we'll get this straightened out tomorrow." And he was like, "Yeah." I had no idea. And I think that the whole premise of suicide prevention at the time where a person is in a crisis, guess what? You're not preventing it. You're not going to prevent it. The prevention has to come long before. And our system, our medical health system, our mental health system in the United States is utterly broken and useless. I'm just going to say it straight up. My son suffered for many years with depression. He was diagnosed with bipolar. There was no cognitive therapy. All they wanted to do was give you a pill and send you away. He went into remission with his mental health, situation, because he had a black belt in jiu-jitsu. He was a long distance runner. He ate like super clean. I mean, he was really pretty fanatical about his physical health. When the lockdowns happened, he lost his gym. He lost a lot of things. And that isolation and the humiliation of being told you're non-essential and, just spiraled him down. And, I tried to be a cheerleader for him and say, hey, you know, there's still options for you out there. But from him being in the healthcare system and seeing how dismissive they usually were, as a matter of fact, the day he died in the emergency room, they turned around and told him, we can't help you. We have to save our resources for somebody who's truly sick. I can't, to this day, will never forget this physician's assistant or nurse or hospital worker, whoever this person was that said this to him. You know, and 3 hours later, he died. So it's really shameful. The prevention has to come long before the crisis. Once a person's in a suicidal crisis, there's very little you're going to do if they make up their mind. There's calling 988. No. Don't get me wrong. Some people that might be helpful for, but for a person that's truly suicidal, you're not calling 988. Very few of them will. It's just what it is. I called 988 when it first happened, and I got put on hold. So, there you go. You know, the prevention and the awareness has to come long before the crisis comes. That's a point we seem to miss in the United States. Kind of like when people develop cancer, well, then they want the intervention. No, the intervention had to come months and years before they got to this point. We should be in the business of prevention months and months before, not when a person is stage 4 cancer or in a mental health crisis where they're ready to kill themselves. That's the whole problem. Dealing with it when it becomes deadly rather than dealing with it at the beginning, at the onset. So that's my thoughts on the whole suicide awareness prevention thing. I'm sorry I can't be more upbeat about that, but it makes no sense to me as a suicide survivor. And my son is not the only person in my life that I know that has killed himself. I know 2 other people that also ended their life. And same situation. The prevention has to come long before the crisis happens. People need to feel they have hope. You can't intervene for somebody that's hopeless, just like you can't intervene for somebody that is in an addiction if they don't feel they have any hope. You know, they have to have hope that they can heal. Otherwise, you know, they're not going to be, you're not going to help them. You might stop something in the moment. But what, you know, I had a realistic, therapist say to me, because I struggled with guilt after my son's death, I had a realistic therapist say to me, you can't stop somebody that's bent on ending their life, okay? People end their lives in hospital situations where they're under lock and key, and they still find a way of doing it. So the prevention has to come long before a person gets to that point. That's what we need to start becoming aware of and making changes for. That's the only way we're going to stop this epidemic of suicide, is revamping our mental health system to start helping people right at the onset of issues, not when they become so downtrodden and hopeless that, you know, they feel there's just no other options for them at this point, you know. That's really where it is. Well, I hope that if you are struggling out there, seek help. Don't leave the people that you love. And don't leave the people that love you. Even if you say, hey, I don't have anybody, you do have somebody. Everybody has somebody. And your life means something. So that's all I have to say for today. I just want to say, thinking of all the people out there that are struggling, whether they are struggling themselves with mental health or they're struggling as a survivor with grief and mental health, then I'm thinking of you all. I'm praying for you all, and God bless.